1 year ago, I bought a boat that needed to be redone, and I bought a motor that didn't run at all. This is what it took to get them fishing ready. Okay, one of the first things was removing soil, carpet, and carpet glue using a scraper. That took forever. I then tried to salvage as much of the hardware as I could, so hinges, hatch lids, everything. Obviously, there's line in the prop. Now, upon removing the carpet, I noticed that the floor was bad. Because I was redoing the whole boat, I just said, screw it, ripped out the entire floor. And then we hit what was kind of a devastating part. We saw how rotten the stringers, the bulkheads, the foam, everything like that was. So I had to go through and replace all that. Okay, new stringers, new bulkheads, all fiberglass in, so it's watertight. Okay, time to paint this thing 100,000 times. So the reason that I don't have all the final pictures of everything nice and pristine and fiberglassed in is because I actually started and did most of this project a full year ago. As soon as I had the boat, I worked constantly on it for 8 weeks total time, and that's when the majority of all this work was done. Okay, when it came to the engine, we had a lot of things to replace, to sort through, to figure out a lot of diagnosing. Here's the ending list of kind of everything that I can remember that I did. So I cleaned the carbs a zillion times, replaced the needed parts, got new fuel lines entirely. I replaced every single fuel line that was attached to that motor. New fuel pump, new fuel filter. I put a new stator on there from CDI Electronics. I got a new starting motor. I ended up having to get another one because the initial one had the wrong number of teeth, so it didn't line up with the flywheel properly. We got a new switch box. That was kind of the last big purchase for the motor. Other than that, it was just a lot of new wiring. There was a lot of corrosive, kind of worn ends on the wires, the ring terminals, or whatever kind of ending it had. So this is a funny one. The guy who sold me the boat was like, oh, you'll be so good at working on this engine, it'll be no problem for you. It's a 4-stroke engine, so it's just like your motorcycle. Okay, that engine is a 2-stroke. You take the cowling off and there's a spot for an oil tank. And then I looked up the serial numbers and started reading through the manuals, and it became very apparent that they were running it still as a 2-stroke, but they had removed the oil tank entirely and they were pre-mixing their fuel in small batches. That's what I think was going on anyways. So I replaced the fuel tank, put in all the linkage rods, all the adjacent wiring so that it kind of circles back and goes into the main fuel line. That was all kind of a headache, but all in all, one of the easier parts we had to overcome. It still cracks me up that the guy who sold me the boat didn't know if it was a 4-stroke or 2-stroke. And then he argued with me when I told him it was a 2-stroke. He said, no way, that's a 4-stroke. Yeah, some people. Yeah, the motor ended up being a pretty costly thing to replace all the pieces that needed to be replaced, but that's what happens with a 30-year-old motor.
Yay!
So 1 year in the making, and we're finally here. We're finally fishing out of the new boat. So we started this journey by buying this boat we bought boat and motor for $1,000 because the boat was total crap and the motor didn't work. I spent the entire last year rebuilding inside of the boat. Fiberglass work sucks, don't advise that. After a lot of pain, a lot of reading manuals, and I mean hundreds and hundreds of pages, we got it all worked out, and now we have a pretty awesome boat. So at the front, we've got a butt stool, and then we've got the trolling motor wired up. Now at the back, all this decking and everything has been redone, like I showed you earlier in the video.
We got 2 driver seats. We got the driver passenger seat, center console that opens up. I built all that as well. We've got a storage well on the left, and on the right, that's the live well, and then rewired in the live well pump, the bilge pump, everything. So underneath there is our gas, the batteries, and then the wiring that's leaving the motor and the batteries to supply the fuse panel and the switch panel up underneath. I have the switch panel just mounted to the dash here. The only 2 currently in use are the bilge pump and the live well pump. I simplified the entire dash. I just ripped out everything on here that didn't work. So the odometer, the tachometer, the cruise log, everything like that. It was all just 30 years old and broken. So ripped that out, replaced it with some wood, because you guys know I love working with wood. So we've got a wooden console, wood on the deck to match, and wood up by the trolling motor to match that as well. We also ran a Hummingbird unit. That's a Hummingbird Helix 7. It's the SI Plus, so it comes with side imaging, down imaging, sonar, chirp, pretty much everything. You can also hook up live scope to that. I'm planning on that in the future. One of the main reasons for getting this Hummingbird is so that it's compatible with the Minn Kota power drive, which has iPilot and Spot Lock. Spot Lock is one of the coolest things ever. So here's the remote that comes with that stuff. So if you want to stay in the same spot, literally all I have to do is hit that anchor button, and that will anchor me to whatever my current spot is. And you still have full navigational control. You can increase, decrease the speed of the propeller. You can move left or right with your trolling motor. You can do the spot lock. It's fantastic. So 0 complaints with the Minn Kota power drive and the Helix Hummingbird. This thing is unreal, but all in all, the Mercury 75 horsepower, I guess, on the way back, because we're about to pack up and leave. I'll show you how she runs on the way back. Whenever she gets on plane, she runs real nice. I like it.
Watch out for her dark side. Yeah, she got some sharp eyes. See her for the first time. Never let her out my sight. I just wanna stay up. Look at you, all made up. Dirty thoughts are seeping to my mind. I can't wait up. She looks so good, got me straight in the mood. She read that room, she know just what to do. Moving that body, she dancing and shaking. It's making them crazy, she know how to move. She said she's ready to party. Let's get it started. Tequila straight out the bottle. She looks so good when she's sipping her bottle.
Okay, first actual fishing day on the water. Overall, success. It's pretty cool little, I mean, you're just surrounded by fishing boats when you're coming in. It's awesome. Fish jumping on that side. This is so cool. We rewired the entire boat. We have everything from the batteries and the motor itself going up through that little pocket right there into the batteries, walking through this far wall, going to our fuse panel, which then goes to our switch panel. That's how we're running the Hummingbird. That's how we're running the trolling motor. The trolling motor is actually being run off a deep cycle battery that we have on this side. So we've got our starting battery on that side, deep cycle on this side, and fuel tank up underneath. I guess I can show you guys. So that's our setup right now. And now this is highly, highly adjustable for the future as well. But 75 horsepower Mercury 2-stroke motor, 3 cylinders. Rebuilt pretty much the entire upper unit on this thing. I replaced just about everything there is. I really like the way she came together. She's looking. I love the way she handles. And of course, last thing, I love that she floats and that I can actually use her. You're gonna be seeing a whole lot more of me and this gal right here. I haven't named her yet. There's a couple names that we're kind of rifling through, but yeah, I love her. I love that I'm able to access that water. I love that I'm able to get out there and enjoy one of the things that really makes me tick, fishing. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy the boat. And of course, always remember, live what you love.